If you heard that, that was Max drinking his water. So bad timing.
Max.
Max? What you doing?
Say hello.
When you say hello, you can't talk. What do you want me to do? Wave?
I don't know. Hi everyone. Welcome to Colette's Thermi Kitchen. My name's Collette Mitrega. I'm a Thermomix consultant, in case you didn't know, and I have customers all over Australia. Now,
And my name is Andrew, and
Yes.
I'm the husband of the Thermomix consultant who sells all over Australia.
You don't sell anything, Andrew.
I said you sell all over Australia.
Yes, exactly. So just so that you know, Thermomix consultants work independently here in Australia, and what that means is that whenever you buy a Thermomix and you choose me as your consultant, that's how I get paid for all the things that I do to make your journey with the Thermomix much more enjoyable. So please make sure that you refer your friends, etc. to me, and that obviously means a lot to my home business. So today we are continuing that journey with the quick puff pastry we did a few days ago, and we're making sausage rolls. Sausage rolls.
My idea.
Yeah, your idea. They are real diet busters. You can't make sausage rolls and not have one. They are just so delicious. So what I want to do is just go through the basics with you so that you can create your own. I will be putting this version up on my blog in the next few days, so you can always do that or refer back to that when you want to. So let's kick off with the filling to the sausage roll. So we're using the beautiful sparkling black Thermomix, which I'm becoming more and more attached to, rather beautiful. So the first thing we need is our meat. Now, you can use a whole range of different meats. You can use all pork, you can use all mince, you can use a combination of pork and mince, and you can also use sausages that you have taken the skin off. All of that works. And of course, you can buy sausage meat from the butchers. Now, you don't need to use meat. You can do vegetarian if you want to, but I'm not going to go into that too much today.
If I give a sausage roll with vegetarian.
Let me tell you, if you haven't tried the vegetarian sausage rolls on Cookie Doo, they are amazing. Really good. So today, what I love to have in my sausage rolls is basically a combination of mince and pork. So here I've got 250 grams of mince, 250 grams of pork. And that's already been minced down.
Mince what?
Mince meat. Ground mince meat.
What sort of meat?
I just said mince, pork and beef.
You didn't say the beef bit. You said minced meat and pork.
Oh, okay, thank you, honey.
It's okay.
Minced beef and minced pork. So I've got 500 grams. So when you're looking at your recipe, 500 grams of protein is what you're kind of after. Now, to that, we want to add an egg, and there's always this debate, do you add an egg, don't you add an egg? The reason you want the egg is going to bind all the ingredients together. It's going to just make everything form into that lovely combined, log.
Is that one of the free-range eggs I brought home?
It is. Isn't that beautiful? We got some beautiful free-range eggs from a lovely lady at Andrew's work yesterday. Rather special.
Are they nice? The yolks are just so bright, but you get the flavour. You can just
really nice.
Yeah, just much nicer than the supermarket eggs.
So in there we've got our meat, 500 grams of meat, 1 egg. Now the other kind of essential are breadcrumbs. And the reason why we need to have breadcrumbs is just as the yolk of the egg will actually bind everything, this will actually absorb all the moisture. So if you're not using breadcrumbs, you'll probably have a soggy mixture. And if you think about, the meat that's in there, it's going to have a good proportion of fat. The breadcrumbs are going to soak up all that fat. And of course, fat is flavour. So I work up about 50 grams of breadcrumbs. You can make them yourself in the Thermomix from old bread. I have got panko breadcrumbs here, which I love very much. All right. So the next thing is our base ingredients. So this is
I'm assuming this is not a Cookie Doo recipe.
No, this isn't Cookie Doo. But it'll be on my blog in the next few days. So this is where you can start to get creative. This is my mix, and basically what I did to create this about an hour ago is in my Thermomix, I put in there about 4 rashers of streaky bacon. Just chop the bacon in 3 pieces.
Bacon in there as well.
And I also
Next you'd be saying you're putting in cheese.
An onion. And what else did I add in there? Bacon and onion. I can't remember what else I added.
All right, it was about an hour ago. You're supposed to remember what happened an hour ago.
I can't remember. Isn't that bacon and onion? I think that's basically what it is. Bacon
Salt,
and
pepper.
onion. Yes, seasoning as always.
Any garlic in there?
Thank you, darling. Yeah, always garlic. Yeah, and about 3 cloves of garlic went in there. Brain dead. Now you could, if you wanted, add into this mix things like celery, carrots, all those basic
No.
That's going to give you more flavour. Andrew, I put that into so much of the food you eat and you love it. You just don't know it's there.
Yeah, no, okay.
So I'm going to add probably about half of this, and I'm going to use the other half in my next batch, which I have planned for tomorrow. All right. So if you're cooking and you've got kids at home that aren't eating their veggies, you could add in there some carrots that you puree down, because if you add carrots in, they're going to see the little bits of orange, and if you add greens in, bits of green, etc., and that might put them off. But if you puree your foods down, add them in, you're actually going to get those mixed through, and they won't even know that they're there. Now I'm also adding a little bit of fennel in there, not too much. Ground fennel.
Don't like fennel.
You see that up on the top. We're going to have that in there, Andrew. And some parsley. So I just
Parsley's
get
good.
my chopper, and I forgot to chop that up. So parsley is going in. So as I said, you know, when you think about the sausage roll, the main ingredients, 500 grams of your meat, and as I said, you could choose all sorts. Then you want to add in your kind of onion, and I wouldn't recommend using onion that is raw.
Could you use seafood? Could you use prawns?
I think I'd rather put them into something
No,
else.
it doesn't sound right, but you could use chicken, couldn't you?
Yeah, chicken, absolutely.
What would you mix chicken with? Maybe some lamb? Chicken and beef?
I'll just do chicken.
Chicken and pork, actually, sounds about right.
Okay, so I'm just going to add in some parsley for extra yumminess. Alright. Just tidy all that up, making a mess here. And of course, we love to put in a splash of oyster sauce.
Yeah, just a splash?
Yes.
Go on, generous splash.
So you've got to be careful you're not making it too soggy.
Okay.
So Andrew said to me, put tomato sauce in, put barbecue sauce in.
No, I didn't say barbecue sauce, I said tomato ketchup. You've done it with tomato ketchup in the past.
I have, and you certainly can do that. So you just want to watch that mix, that it's not becoming too wet. And I'm going to add salt.
Lots of salt.
And pepper. Okay. And the lid's going to go on, and I just want the Thermomix now to combine this mixture. I was saying that, you know, with the mix that you make to add in your onions, your garlic, and whatever else you're adding in there, you might want to put some oregano in, etc. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, everybody. You want to make sure that's nice and cold when you're mixing it all through the meat, just for health and safety reasons. And also you don't want to be putting a warm sausage meat filling on top of your pastry. Now to mix this, I just want to move into the dough function, because I want a gentle mix. I don't want it blasted. I just want a nice kind of a gentle mix. So into the dough function, and I reckon all we need for the first check will be about 30 seconds. And we'll go to there.
You deserve a glass of wine, my dear. Go on.
No, thank you. I'll have one in a second. So what the dough function in the Thermomix does, and it's such a wonderful function, it basically, 1 minute of dough function in the Thermomix is the equivalent to me standing here for 10 minutes kneading. So what it does is it turns forward, backwards, and it rests. So it's actually giving everything a chance to fall and then combine nicely. So that's why I particularly like it. So I'm going to check it. and see if I need to do another 10 seconds. And no, I don't. So you can see here now that's all mixed through perfectly, and it's not become super soft. So I'm just going to tip this into a bowl, because that's going to be what we make our sausage roll filling with. And I'll just show you the texture of this. It's not too wet, not too dry.
Of course, you're using the pastry you made a couple of days ago.
Absolutely. I'm going to get that out of the fridge in a minute. So there you go. You can see now that that is just beautifully combined. Now, if you are unsure about your taste, etc., what you can do is grab a little frying pan and just fry off a small piece of it and have a taste. See whether you need more salt or whether you need to add something to give it a bit of a nice sip. So what I'm going to do now, I've got a bit of baking paper down here. I'm just going to shake this.
I love Ruth's comment. There's a couple of people saying, "Oh, that the black Thermomix is lovely," and Ruth said, "My husband said he would get some black spray paint from Bunnings and paint the white one."
Doesn't work. It's not shiny, it's not all jeweled and diamond effect. So all I'm going to do now is to take this, and I'm going to form this into a nice kind of log. I put a bit of flour down, and that's just going to help me, and it's just not going to be ultra sticky.
So when does the cheese go in?
Soon.
Oh, you don't sort of mix it in part of, you just layer it.
You could absolutely do that. I tend not to. Okay, just forming this all up.
You're going to do like 50-50, half cheese, half not cheese?
No.
All cheese?
All cheese in good.
Just for me?
Just for you. Okay, so that looks about right. So happy with that.
Looks like a skinned snake.
So you can imagine if these were just sausages, your favourite sausages, just take the skin off and just into a nice long line. Okay, so happy with that. Use just about all of that mixture. And if you do have a little bit of mixture left, you can freeze it to next time, or you can actually shape that into a nice patty, fry it off, and have that for lunch tomorrow, which is wonderful. Okay, so just rinsing my hands out.
So you never minced your own meat on this one, did you?
Not for this one. I'll have to do a live on mincing meat, telling you what kind of cuts to buy and things like that. It's very easy to mince your own meat, and as Andrew said, it's something I normally would always do, but I didn't get around to doing that today. So I've done that. I'm just going to now just set that to one side until later, and now we're going to get our pastry. Just going to the fridge, honey.
Oh, here we go. Interlude. Do 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 do. That is the most important ingredient there.
So this is the pastry that I made the other day, and what I did is I popped it into the freezer, and I basically had double wrapped it, so it's exactly the same as that last roll that we did. I wrapped it in some cling film and then in here. Now, if I was storing this and I had no intention of taking it out, what I would have done then, once this was frozen hard, I would have then put it into a vacuum seal bag, taken out all the air, and that way it's going to last longer and get no frost on it. Alright, so it's a little bit hard still, I think. So what we need to do is to...
So how long has that been out the freezer?
I took this out actually this morning.
So you took it out and then put it in the fridge?
Yeah, just pop it in the fridge. So remembering, we want to put a little bit of flour down, because we're rolling. Flour on here. So we made the pastry, we did the folds, and on the last fold I froze it, took it out and defrosted it.
So what depth are you using on your roller?
I'm using on my Thermomix roller 4mm.
Okay.
Okay, so
that's the orange.
Perfect rolls. So I want to roll this out, so making sure, remember the rules, we want to keep this pastry turning because it will get warm and we don't want it to stick. So I want to kind of roll this out to around about a width of 20 centimetres. So I'm going from the middle out, and the reason we do that is because you end up with a more even kind of roll, middle out. You can do the middle toward you as well, the middle out. So as long as you start in the middle and head off, you're going to get a Good. So let me just check. That would be about the right width. So now I'm going to start going long and middle, and out we go. Just making sure we're keeping that all nice and... So what I just did there is I put a fair bit of pressure on, and because I put the pressure on, what happened is I ended up with this. So I just want to make sure I'm keeping this in the right kind of shape.
What a great tool. You use that for so many different things.
I know, absolutely. So again, just moving this around, making sure it's all good. And just...
What's that thing called?
It's a bench scraper.
Bench scraper, okay. And that's from the mix shop.
From the mix shop. I think most people will actually have that. It's so useful. Okay. Now you can hear my rollers here on the end are actually on the table, so that's good. And then I'm just going to check this for flour, a little bit more flour. Flipping, and I can see that's beginning to get warm, and then I'm going to go the other way, but first let's just tidy up this end. Okay, bring this one back.
What a good workout, eh?
I know.
This is good aerobic exercise.
It's quite good in here.
You're running out of mats. It's getting thick there in this end.
Yeah. Just always moving it. Okay, so I'm just going to do a check. And that should be about where I need it. And if you were to look at a side view, you would see that this is all nice and just making sure we're not sticking. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip my thermomat. So this thermomat is always the first thing I recommend people get from the mix shop along with the blade cover. It has so many functions, and you know, if this was on the table I couldn't turn it like this. Right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to grab our sausage meat, and I am simply going to roll this somewhere in the middle.
This is where the magic happens.
So just checking all this again.
Don't forget the cheese.
And I'm going to grab a little bit more of that sausage meat and put a little bit more here at the end. That's perfect. Excellent. Now remembering, if it's really hot and your pastry starts to warm up, you can quite happily pop it back into the fridge and redo it a bit later. So I'm going to get my bench scraper, and all I'm going to do is just to tidy up these ends, just pressing down, get rid of that. And again over here, just pressing down. All right. Now what I like to do is I like to
put some cheese in.
Put some mustard on. That's so funny, Andrew. And we just love mustard in our house. So what I'm actually going to do...
Dijon?
I need an egg. Dijon, yeah. I like to just spread a bit of mustard down. And this is just going to give this a lovely, lovely flavour.
I mean, you could put some sort of English hot mustard in there as well, couldn't you?
Whatever you wanted. Just beautiful. And then on top...
And here comes the hero ingredient.
We sprinkle some cheese, because Andrew is a little mouse, I swear. He's
all of it, all the cheese, all the cheese, put it all in there.
Okay. Now I just need to go grab one more egg, Andrew. But first, what I'm now going to do is to use my mat, because I don't want to touch the pastry, or touch it as little as possible.
Here comes the magic.
Roll that over. Okay. Good. Very good. I'm just going to grab an extra egg.
You should just cook the whole lot just by itself like that. Don't cut them. So Colette's been very good. She hasn't even tried her wine tonight.
Look.
What's that?
It's a little blue egg. We don't get blue do eggs very often.
This is a lovely lady at the, as some of you know, I'm working at the Australian Electoral Commission, managing the site for the Fadden by-election. We're into our last week or two as I wind down the site. And this lovely lady brought me 12 eggs, farm fresh laid eggs. And they are so tasty. Look how yellow those yolks are.
Beautiful. So I can feel this is heating up quite a bit, so I need to start moving. And all I'm going to do now is on this side, I am going to put down some egg yolk. Oh, it's a wash, so remember an egg wash is just an egg beaten with a little bit of water added. The reason we add the water is to basically help it to spread. So then continuing, I'm just going to take these, continue to roll these up with my mat. Okay. Now you could cut off that little bit of excess pastry, but I don't see the point in that. The pastry is just delicious. Okay, so there we go. We have our lovely sausage roll.
I don't know if you can see at home, there's a marbling effect right through this pastry, which is a bit of butter.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and I cut it with my bench scraper, bit of flour on here. As I said, I normally just...
That's it, one for you, one for me.
And you can make them as big or as little as you obviously want to.
Does it make a difference to how they cook evenly if they're smaller?
Just the time-wise will be a bit different. Okay. Right, so let's just go into here. So, should we do smaller, Andy, or big ones like that?
That's fine.
That one? Okay.
Yeah, those are...
So I just want you to have a little look, full of really yummy goodness. So I'm just going to pop these onto this tray.
Now you're going to freeze these, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I will cook a couple just for tonight.
I was just about to say, there's no way you're not going to be able to cook a couple tonight.
All right, so you want to leave space between them. And then what I like to do, if you're going to freeze these, I just like to give them a little snip. You can do 2 or 3.
Why?
Because it's going to let the steam out of the pastry. So I'm just snipping the pastry.
Well, what does that do?
It lets the steam out of the pastry,
yeah,
so
I know
the
that.
pastry doesn't become soggy.
Okay.
So what I would do is take those to the freezer and open freeze them. Once they're frozen, I would take them out and pop them into a bag, and then when I'm ready to cook them, take them out and you cook them from frozen, which is a winner. So normally, if I was I'm going to cook these 2 now, what I would actually do then is to snip them and pop them in the fridge just to get them cold again. And then once I've done that and I'm ready to cook, I'm going to egg wash it again and pop it in at 200 degrees for about 15-20 minutes.
Will you put some more cheese on the top?
No.
Okay. So if you cook them from frozen versus these which aren't frozen, is there different on the timing?
Yeah, and probably an extra 10 minutes. So if you're cooking directly from the freezer, you'll take your frozen sausage rolls and then you'll egg wash the frozen rolls and put them into a preheated oven, 200 degrees pan, and they would probably take about 25, maybe 30 minutes. All right, and that's it. And they are going to be so delicious. Seriously, there's nothing like a home-cooked sausage roll. And you can do the filling.
The oven's not on.
I know, I was going to freeze them all, but I won't. I'll cook these 2. I'm going to put them in the oven, in the fridge to cool down. All right, you kept distracting me a lot tonight.
I know, I was keeping you on your toes.
And you certainly were.
You did a good job. Go and have a glass of wine.
Any questions from anybody?
Well, while you're having a drink, we'll see if there's any questions. Just lots of people are saying they look so delicious, looks good. Oh, yum, can't wait to do these.
So you saw not hard, and just, think about what kind of meat you want to use first of all, and then what kind of flavourings that you want to add into it. You might want to keep it really simple, buy your favourite sausages and work that way, or you can do like me, just start to create and have your own special blend of sausage roll.
You can't go wrong with what, pork, beef, and bacon, and cheese, and Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah. So remember the basics. You need your meat, you need an egg to bind, you need about 50 grams, so 500 grams of meat, 1 egg to bind, and about 50 grams of breadcrumbs to soak up any excess moisture. Always add in an onion that you have cooked, sauteed off. So remember, when you're cooking and sauteing in the Thermomix, so for me, I added in some bacon, some onion, some garlic, chopped that for basically, it was about 4 seconds at speed 6. I then had a look at it and it wasn't all chopped, there were still some chunky bits. So then I went into turbo and I just blasted it for 1 second. And then it was all really small and fine, which was brilliant. Then I added about a tablespoon of oil, not too much because the bacon's in there. And then I just sauteed that up. And remember to saute 4 minutes, 120 degrees at speed 1 on reverse. And remember, because we are using higher temperatures, this comes off, simmering basket goes on. But all of that instruction will be in my recipe. That will be on my blog in the next few days. And I will post it on my Facebook page so you know it's live and it's there.
And then making these in a TM5, same?
Exactly the same in your TM5. Yep, absolutely. Why have you still got TM5? Give it TM6. All right. And don't forget, we've still got our 36 months interest free available until the 10th of this month. So
Go inside your TM5 and buy a TM6.
yeah, absolutely.
And you can get the Darth Vader TM6.
All right, everybody, I'm going to put these in the fridge before they melt away like the Wicked Witch of the East or North or wherever it was on The Wizard of Oz. My name's Collette Mitrega. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for supporting my business. Please remember, hit that share. I think the last video I did on the puff pastry went out and was viewed about 4,500 times. But I only had 3 people share it, so I'm really grateful if you share it because it just gives it more exposure and that helps my business. Little share button underneath, so just click that before you head off. Thank you, have a beautiful evening, and I will see you again soon with something else. I'm thinking vol au vents. What do you think? Let me know. Do you think vol au vents would be a good one to do with our puff pastry?
Mushroom and bacon vol au vents.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
And cheese.
And cheese. All right, Andrew, say good night to everyone.
Good night to everyone.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.
Okay, you can take a picture of these when you cook later?
I will, and I'll pop them up. Yes, for sure.
Okay, well, you better do it quickly because when these come out, one of those is going to go straight away.
I can imagine.
With tomato ketchup.
With tomato ketchup, absolutely.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.